Hi guys, how are you doing? Welcome back to my channel. It's your boy Pritham. Now, if you've been following any of my social media or my movements or my travels or my photography, you'll know that last year I spent 2 months in the Catalan capital of the hip, fabulous, hot and fascinating Catalan capital of Barcelona. I said Catalan capital a lot of times. Anyway, I kind of wanted to put together a little video to give you a rundown of my experiences and some tips, tricks, advice for anyone planning on moving to Barcelona, living for a short time in Barcelona, or just having a good visit and travels in Barcelona. So here we go, buckle your seatbelts and let's get cultural. Okay, first, let's talk about accommodation. Now, I moved to Barcelona in the months of July and August, and they are the most popular months in Barcelona. It's hot, there's so many parties going on, there's a lot of things for like tourists as well as locals, as well as loads of LGBTQ plus parties, events and festivals happening, which I'll get onto later. So it's not the cheapest time to move, but if you are looking to move for a 1 month kind of subletting thing or a short period of time, I have a money saving tip for you. Join this Facebook group which I've linked in the below description. It's called Rooms for Rent in Barcelona, and you can also have a look at Idealista.com, which is an official Spanish and Barcelonian, is that even a word, rental site. Basically, it's customary every year for lots of students or graduates or even people that live in Barcelona to leave Barcelona for July and August. It's because it's really hot, there's loads of tourists, and it's usually summer break, and people get generous breaks over the summer and work in Europe, in Spain. People usually go home, either in their home country or to the north or different places in Spain. So there's a lot of rooms, especially in the centre, that are free for the months of June, July or August. I found a sublet in the Gothic quarter, which is the historical centre of Barcelona, for €500 a month, which is insane. And we're talking smack bang in the middle of Barcelona. I was there for 6 weeks, but it worked out pro rata to €500 per month. It was right off the main passageway, like their main street called Las Ramblas. Loads of things to do, loads of monuments, loads of people. I had a blast, but you have to be aware, obviously, with this type of living, that you're going to have to share some facilities with other people that you've not met, strangers. In this case, I was sharing 1 bathroom and 1 kitchen with 1 German girl and one German guy, actually, but it was perfect because I knew no one else there. I had a base, I had people to hang with and go out with. We had a few kind of dinners together, which was nice, but we had enough space to leave each other alone to work or to go out and focus on other things. So for me, the situation was perfect. But beware, you know, there are good offers on those types of sublet rooms for the months of July and August, but it's really hot, and sometimes these apartment blocks, which are in the Gothic district or those central historical areas, are number one, up like 5 or 6 flights of stairs with no elevator, so you have to be fairly fit, and number two, don't come with any air conditioning because these are old buildings and they don't have them as standard usually, especially in the historical centres. And even if you have a front-facing room, if you open the windows and shutters out, you're not going to get a huge amount of breeze either. So I got around this by buying a fan from the local department store called, hilariously, El Corte Inglés, the English Court. Don't know why it's called that, but it is. And I found a fan for €40 and I put it right on my face at night, and that kind of sorted me out. Other accommodation, which I know is really good, can also be found on Airbnb, but beware, during those months, it will range from about €800 to €1,000 a month for a room, minimum, especially during July and August. But the best time to go to visit Barcelona for weather as well as culture as well as good prices is probably right now when I'm making this video, which is April. That's because it's still warm enough to go and enjoy the beach, but you're not going to get, it's not in the full flow of tourist season, so you're going to be able to enjoy yourself a lot more. Okay, so let's talk about what to do in Barcelona. Now, everybody says it and it's on the top of every list, but I promise you it's not overhyped. The Sagrada Familia is so worth it. The reason it's worth it is because even if you're not a Gaudi freak like me, you're not into architecture or churches, there's quite simply no other cathedral like this in the world. It is weird, and I'm talking alien weird, gender bending weird. It is just a one of a kind. It is unique and it tells a story. So I would recommend everyone who goes to Barcelona, even if you're returning, to definitely go see this. Now you do have to get tickets in advance, and please don't leave it last minute, because not only will you face huge queues if you try to go on the day, but they get sold out, and you might also be queuing for hours to get turned away, which is not how anyone wants to spend their precious time, even if you're visiting Barcelona or living there. I don't recommend it. It is expensive, but it's definitely worth it. But I also think it's worth spending the extra €2 or €3 for the tour guide. The reason for this is it's a huge cathedral. The tour guide also gets you expedited entry into the main areas, and the cathedral is so big and confusing, it really helps with the tour guide to explain everything. You just get so much more out of it, even more than you would do from reading a book or downloading a podcast. You're there, you can ask questions. I also know people who have gone and have just gone and sat outside and enjoyed it, but I promise you it's worth going inside, because the architecture inside is just as amazing, if not better. The stained glasses are chef's kiss. It's insane. Okay, you can't go to the Catalan capital without talking about the T word, tapas. Yeah, it's everywhere. Okay, here is my rough advice. Number one, I would avoid anywhere that's near Las Rambla or on La Rambla. Not that it's going to be bad, it would just probably not be amazing, and it will probably be overpriced, but unfortunately that is where everyone tends to go. These are some of the tapas places that I personally have been to, either solo or with friends, and that I either liked or loved, and these are places that I would go to again. So the first place is Quimet. It has so many selections of things. The food is consistently good. I found it really good value for money, and it was also fun, and it was quick, and it was a good representation of Catalan cuisine. And as a starter, or somebody who wants like somewhere reliable and somewhere that's gonna get the job done and it'd be a good experience, I really recommend Quimet. The next place I went to was called El Champagnet. I think I'm describing it properly, and it was special. It was really local. It felt family run. There was an amazing selection. It felt authentic. It was really reasonably priced. It was atmospheric in there. They serve you good cava with the tapas, which is also great because it not only gets you boozy, but it's really local, and I really enjoyed that. So I'd heartily recommend El Champagnet. The other place I recommend is a bit special and a bit more maverick. It's called Bar del Pla, and it's in the Born district. Oh my god, it's different. It is experimental, but also has some really good staples like your Spanish omelette and your patatas bravas, but they've got really special things on the menu that change all the time. You'll discover something new. The waiters are really good at recommending things that you maybe haven't tried and will give you their honest opinions. Try to go early on a weekday, because on evenings and weekends there's queues to get in and it's packed, but locals love it and it's really special, and I really recommend Bar del Pla. The other place I want to recommend is, it's been in loads of tour guides and loads of books, and it's always recommended. It's a staple, it's a traditional famous staple in Barcelona, and it's called La Cova Fumada. It was old school. I thought it was vintage. It felt like what people in the 80s and 90s used to come to Barcelona and come and get. It was a really good, again, representation of what Barcelonan tapas and Catalan tapas and culture should be, and I really enjoyed it. It is expensive. Even if you have a booking or you get there in time, they can be slow to seat you, and it can, you have to kind of always kind of say, I'm priority, please seat me, but it's worth it. It definitely was one that I remembered from Barcelona, and I think if you have got the time and the money to splash and you want something you're going to remember, you can't go wrong with La Cova Fumada. Now, if you're anything like me, you need caffeine to get your fix, to get going. In the morning, in the mid-afternoon, I don't care what time it is, I can always use coffee. In particular in Barcelona, if you've been going a little bit too heavy at night time. The coffee is great in Barcelona, people care about it, and there's a new kind of culture coming in where there are more cafes. I mean, it's not Paris, people don't sit on the pavement and go to a cafe, but things are changing. There are more good cafes and good coffee spots, and it's not just for people with laptops or to co-work, but people do that. There are coffee shops where laptops are banned and people kind of sit and kind of write or actually, you know, have a conversation. But these are some of my favourite coffee shops that I found in Barcelona. First, we've got Federal Cafe in the Gothic. It's a really nice kind of slightly out of the beaten path joint that's co-owned by Soho House, but you wouldn't know. There's not a lot of Soho House people there, but it's really good quality coffee. There's spaces on the windows where you can sit, read a book, or be on your laptop. It's reasonably priced, the food is good, the coffee is good, and the waiters treat you really well. Now this one's close to my own heart. It's because I live near this kind of area in London, but there's a really good coffee shop called Dalston Coffee, and named after the area in London. It's run by people who really care about coffee. The quality is excellent. They offer loads of different types of coffees, from your cortados to your flat whites to your oat milks and almond milks. Everything you want will be there. So if you're a coffee freak, that's where I'd hang out. Now, if you want something a bit more bougie, which also does really good pastries, I would recommend Nomad. You've probably seen this on Instagram. I was a little bit like, oh my god, it's going to be really overhyped, but it's definitely worth it. I really recommend hanging out at the Nomad coffee shop and grabbing yourself a good pastry and a coffee at the same time. Okay, let's talk about rooftops. Now, I love going to a rooftop for cocktails and for sunset. It's a nice place to take people that have come to visit you or friends that are also in the city watching the sunset. So I've got some options for you. One of the main places that was recommended is Ola. It's expensive, but it's got a really nice view from the rooftop there. The food and drink is really good quality. There's nice seating areas, but it feels a little bit too touristy in my opinion. But if you want a solid place that's going to impress people, that's something that I would also recommend. It's also in a really nice part of the town. But one of my favourite rooftops which we found was on the rooftop of the Edition Hotel. It felt bougie, it felt exclusive, the cocktails were signature and they were exotic and rare, but it's expensive. Again, like everything, you get what you pay for. But what I liked about this place was that there were different curated seating areas. There was one seated area where there was just all glass, so you could see the entire city as far as it stretched at sunset. And there was another seating area where it was more comfy sofas and tables, so you could actually enjoy your afternoon tea or your cocktail, whatever you wanted, or if you wanted to eat. So it's a curated seating area which caters for everyone. But if you want something a bit kind of extraordinary, I'd really recommend the Edition Hotel's rooftop. Also got a more maverick option for you guys that are a bit more adventurous, which is kind of what I am as well. I really enjoyed going to Park Gaudi for sunset. If you climb up there, it's quite a kind of, it's not a hard climb, but it definitely makes you sweat. You've got to be pretty fit. But there's really nice hillsides outside the Park Güell that have really nice views of Barcelona. So even if you're not in Park Güell, you can sit there with your legs dangling on the side with a cocktail or a glass of something and your friends, and that feels like the most exclusive club in Barcelona. And you're outdoors and it's romantic and you can see amazing views of the other side of Montjüc. If you do get a ticket, or if you're organised enough to actually look at it in advance and get into Park Gaudi, that's a really special spot. They don't mind if you take food or drink in there, as long as you're respectful, clean up after yourself, and you don't make loads of noise. We've definitely been in there for sunset with a bottle of sangria and some plastic cups, and it's been really magical to kind of see the sunset over Gaudi's masterpiece and just being in a weird, whimsical wonderland. Now, for anyone who's LGBTQI+, or under that umbrella, or even if you're straight and you're an ally or just love a good gay night out, here are my rundown of some of the best LGBTQI+ bars and clubs in Barcelona. I really love my nightlife and going out, and I was there for 6 weeks. over the summer, so I had a really good chance to get to know a lot of the venues, clubs and bars, and here are just my opinions and recommendations on what I think is hot and popping and fun right now in Barcelona. La Federica was a favourite. It is a communal kind of gathering area. If you've been to London, it's kind of like the vibes you get from the Glory in Shoreditch or Dalston Superstore. It's hip without being pretentious, it's fun without being inapproachable, there's a really good mixed crowd, they serve good cocktails, it's not too expensive, and it's not far from the Gothic area, and I really recommend it. It's a fun night out. They've also got a bar area with a DJ, so it pops off if you want on a night out, but you don't have to dance. So that's the magic of this area. My other favourite place is Candy Darling. This is cool. It is a trendy place to hang out. It's very like Brooklyn warehouse, neon signs, but it's got amazing cocktails. It's quite a trendy crowd without it being like precious or too like looks based. It's kind of cool, but not in a kind of like standoffish way. It really reminds me of like, yeah, something you'd find in like a New York warehouse kind of meatpacking district kind of area. But the bar staff are amazing, the music is retro and fabulous, and it's an all-around good night out as well. Mo M is one of the like busiest, like internationally packed, you'll meet loads of people spaces where they serve really good cocktails, there's really good music, and that's in the gay district of Eixample, and it's spelt M-O-O-E-M. You've also got a really good drag bar nearby where there's drag performances all night, every night, and it's in your face, rowdy, loud, big drag, and they are on poles, and there's audience interaction, and they sing crazy music, and that's called Believe. I guess it's named after the Cher song, but I don't quote me on that, but it's still a top night out. There's also a classic place called Boys Bar, which is nearby in the area as well, and it's quite kind of like looksy, quite twinky. But it's pretty. There's pretty people if that's what you want. I mean, there's no harm. You can always just pop your head in and kind of see what's going on. My other alternatives as a bar, if you want a bougie night out, is the Axel Hotel Sky Bar. Now, the Axel Hotel is one of Europe's only predominantly gay hotels, and they've got a really gorgeous sky bar with good panoramic views all over Barcelona. They have excellent DJs up there. They've got lovely Ibizan style kind of like puffs and white seating to sit around. They serve cocktails in nice crystal, but it's a bougie night out. It's something a bit more elevated. It's a good crowd, and it might be a fun start to your night before you head off somewhere else. Okay, so we've covered bars. Let's talk about some of the clubs, and I'm talking about those dirty, fun gay clubs. Now, Arena is one of the oldest and most established gay clubs in Barcelona, but please do your research before you go, because there are several different arenas, and one of them is predominantly lesbian and the other one is more for gay men. So deciding on which way you switch, what crowd you're into, it's really important to know which arena you're going to. I went to the Arena in Eixample, and it's really fun, but remember the Catalan Spanish ways, where basically nights don't start really until 11 or midnight at least. In the bars, in the clubs, people don't sometimes get there till 1 or 2 in the morning, and they go on till about 5 a.m. So it's a really late night out, especially if you're from sleepy old London like me. Other things to check out are a night called Matinee, which is a night out every once in a blue moon in Barcelona, and it is world famous for their selection of hot people that go there, Ibiza style DJs, really good venues and huge parties. So I definitely recommend you googling Matinee, and also check out the famous Barcelona Circuit Festival, which happens every August. And that's something that a lot of people from all over the world come and go and do. While I was there, it was on, but I didn't get a ticket. I didn't really know about it beforehand, but I wish I'd researched it before, because it looks really fun, and there's a lot of people that come, especially people that come on the cruise ships that dock in Barcelona and then they go. And also don't forget, in June every year, Barcelona also hosts one of Europe's biggest gay pride events, and it's huge. It takes over the entire city all the venues are involved. There's an amazing parade down Las Ramblas and on the beach, and there's beach parties, and they also get some of the big clubs on the beach involved, places like Opium and Pasha. So they're also really worth kind of researching and getting to know. Okay, because this is an all-inclusive channel and I don't want to alienate my straight or hetero brothers and sisters out there who just want to go to Barcelona and have a swinging old time, here are some alternatives for clubs and bars that you can also visit. I'm really into my music, and if you're into a really interesting music selection, including things like R&B, drum and bass, jazz, dubstep, there's a night for everyone at a club in the Gothic district called Razzmatazz. It is really famous, it's super local, it's really fun. They've got several floors, one of them's in a vault, it's like atmospheric, and it's a really popping crowd. There's huge nightclubs on the beachfront like Opium and Pasha, which are world famous. Again, they host international DJs, but you do have to get on a guest list in advance. I recommend looking on Facebook. Tickets start from about 25 to 30 euros for entry, and that's not including how expensive drinks are inside. But if you are really into a DJ and they're playing and you want to do some beachside clubbing, that's your places to go and hang out. Now, I've got another controversial suggestion, and it's controversial because I personally don't love the W hotels. It's a little bit kind of showy, it's not always a great crowd, and sometimes the staff don't treat you brilliantly at the W hotels, in my opinion. But the W Hotel in Barcelona is a bit of an icon and a staple, not only for its location with that beautiful fin shape being on the beach, but also they host a really good weekend beach party. I think it's on a Sunday, but you'll have to check online and also get involved on a WhatsApp group or a Facebook to get a ticket. But sometimes they have a free guest list, and it's really worth going because the W Hotel beach party isn't actually on the beach, but they open up their entire patio, lounge and swimming pool area and bar. They have a really good DJ. It's a really nice event. I was really blown away by the quality of the music, the quality of the sound system, the really nice surroundings, and the mix of people. Okay, so I had a bit of a prejudice about this place, but I really recommend going to Sitges. Now, Sitges has a reputation as being like a one big gay free-for-all, and I was a bit like, oh, do I really want to go? I was kind of put off because it's very LGBTQI plus friendly. There's a lot of gay bars, and it's notorious as a big party place. But I had straight friends that wanted to go, and it's about 45-minute train ride, direct train from Barcelona, and I cannot recommend it enough. It is beautiful. To me, it's like going to more of a Grecian island town. It was whitewashed, low rise, beautiful little town centre, gorgeous little eateries and boutiques and restaurants, and all on the beachfront. 2-3 really beautiful beaches. But if you want to party, if you want to go gay bars and gay clubbing, you can. There's loads of fun gay bars in the town, but also there's like a gay beach and a nude beach, but only if you want to and you feel comfortable about it. If you don't, it's a cultural, beautiful day out. But I would also recommend staying there for one night so you can really feel like you get away from the hustle and bustle, or even just to visit the beaches, because even the normal clothed beaches, normal beaches are really, really beautiful. Now, there'll be a list of like loads of things that people say to go and do in Barcelona, but one thing I would actually avoid is that main market, the Boqueria market on Las Ramblas. It's just too busy. On the outside and in it, there's so many mainstream chain restaurants that aren't Catalan or really aren't representative of the region, like Walk to Walk, and I'm just like, why is that there in one of the main, markets that are meant to be Catalan in Barcelona? So, you can go to Boqueria. I think there's a couple of stalls there which are really good, but if you don't want to go to Boqueria, I really recommend going to Santa Caterina Market instead. It's about a 15-minute walk from the Boqueria market, but it's way more local. There's way less tourists, the food is super fresh, and you're bound to find something different. Another trick I want to give you guys as well is that there's a cable car that goes from Barcelona beachfront up to Montjüc, which is an area on the hill where there are museums, cultural spots. They sometimes have parties and a castle, and that's a really nice area to explore. And a lot of people obviously recommend to do that, but check what time the cable car opens and closes, because you don't want to miss that opportunity. But also, if you can, time it to either go up or come down with sunset. Now, obviously sunset ranges all the time, but when I was there it was at 6:30. I managed to get on the cable car for one of those sunsets and it was really beautiful. Okay, I've got a hot tip about the museum. The MNAC, the Museo Nacional Catalan, is one of the biggest museums in Barcelona and it's really worth checking out, but it's huge, there's a lot to do, and it can be really expensive. What I would do is, if you wanted to go to a museum, definitely check out that one, but check out in advance what wing or exhibition you're mainly interested in. And if you go after 3 p.m. on Saturdays, it's free to go in. And it's only open for an hour and a half on Saturday from 3 p.m. But if you go to check out just one exhibition or one wing, that's more than enough to get your fill of that specific area. 1.5 hours isn't the most amount of time in the MNAC, but if you plan it and time it, you can save a lot of money and see what you want. It's also free on the first Sunday of each month. So if you are in Barcelona for the first Sunday of a month, or you time it for that opportunity, that's also a really good way to save money and see an amazing world-class museum for completely free. Also, you do not want to miss this out. There is a really beautiful memorial in the center of Barcelona. It's in one of the maze the maze streets of the Gothic quarter, and it's literally just called the Kissing Memorial. And if you Google it, try and find it. It's really worth finding. I had so much fun there. It is a memorial of 2 people kissing that is made up of loads of tiny photos of couples, of real couples, and up close you can see every photo, and as you walk back it's like that big collage that kind of comes together to make the 2 people kiss. It's so cute. There's loads of lovers there. People have signed the walls next to it or carved things in, and it's just a really pretty romantic place to find in Barcelona. My other tip is really about where to hang out for bars and nightlife in Barcelona. Now, the temptation is, if you've not been to Barcelona before or you're just there for a short amount of time, to just hang out in the Gothic quarter, which I get. It's the historical centre where all the monuments are, where the big cathedrals are, where the tourist hotels are, where the Ramblas is, and there is a lot going on around there. But my favourite neighbourhood, actually, although Echemple is the main gay district, there's a really gorgeous neighbourhood called Born, and that's quite local, it's quite studenty, but there's also so many different things there. There's live music, there's really nice local eateries that are cheap and cheerful, there's loads of bars, and there's loads of nightlife without it being crazy and intense. It just feels vibey is all I can say, and it's not far. It's about a 10-minute walk from the Gothic district. That ended up becoming my favourite going out at night spot in Barcelona, and I wish that I spent more time there earlier on in my trip, but by the end of it I found places like dive bars and like places with good food that I wanted to go to constantly, and there were also really lovely boutiques and stuff around there. So guys, that's a little bit of my experience and advice and tips and tricks from my stay in Barcelona. I really hope it helps you. What I'm going to do is I'm going to put some of this information into a downloadable PDF that's really easy, maybe with some maps, some more names of stuff, so that it's easy to download so you can have it on your phone or your electronic device while you are traveling. So I'd really appreciate all of the support, and again, any likes, shares, comments, engagements goes such a long way in this content creation journey. Thank you guys so much for listening. I really hope you got something out of it and you enjoyed this. Good luck if you're going to Barcelona. Let me know where you end up, and here's until next time, happy travels.